Okay, let's take a look at this software development automator that is going to leverage AI. So basically we're going to start off with a typical Atlassian story and develop tests so that we know exactly what success looks like, that if it passes these tests, then the software that we write is sufficient. And then we'll actually get it to develop the software. Let's develop some software, write a function to calculate the cost based on weight. If the weight is below or equal to 10 kilos, then it's $10. And if it's above 10 kilos, it's $100. But there's a maximum weight of 20 kilos. So that's the description of our problem. Let's call it shipping cost. Calculator. And the acceptance criteria for us is when all tests are passed. Okay, so this is going to go away now, and based on this story, it's going to develop, first it'll develop test cases. So that'll depend on things like the weight here, and there should be just a few test cases that it generates. And then it'll write the software. Let's take a look at it in action. So here it is that we're going to basically take this code that we develop, push it to GitHub, and run it against the tests to see if it's successful. So here it is running. We can look at the details. It's come up with a plan. It's going to call the architect agent, and then it's going to generate the tests with tester. Then it's going to implement the solution with implementer, and then it's going to deploy that code with the GitHub integration agent, and orchestrating all this is the orchestrator agent. So this is part of the design. Call it shipping cost calculator. So it takes our title and creates a name for the software. And here it's going and showing us little code snippets. It actually added 6 tests. And here's the execution log. So it started with the orchestrator, then it went to the architect, and then it went to the test developer, tester that did test generation. Then it implemented, coded the solution, and then it pushed all this to GitHub, deployed to GitHub. And we can go and take a look in GitHub in a moment. And then it executed the tests, and it passed those tests. So we were pretty successful. Let's go and see what it did. So here, what it's going to do is it's going to create a branch. So we've got, under main, we've got several branches. And if I view all of them, we'll see the most recent one is 1 minute ago. So if I look at this branch, it's got tests in it. That this is where we had, this is our source code. So this is what it wrote to calculate. If the weight is not equal to da-da-da, throw an error. If the weight is greater than 20, again, throw an error. If the weight is greater than 10, it's going to cost 100. Otherwise, if it's less than 10, it's going to be $10. So if we look at the tests, we've got a number of tests. It said there were 6 of them. So these tests would be run, and that's all managed by a GitHub action. So if we look at the workflow here, we'll see that these tests were basically run in a container. So it set up the job, that set up Node, because these are JavaScript files, created the jest, run the test, and write the JSON. So let's take a look, see what it did with the tests. So here you'll see that it came back correct with all those tests. So there's one suite and it passed 6 of the tests out of total 6. So it was totally successful. If it wasn't, we'd have to go back around the loop and write the software again. and then come back and see if it passed the tests. So that's basically the code development, that we develop it and then push it to GitHub and use GitHub Actions to test it, and if not successful we go back around again. But this one was successful. Update. So that's our shipping cost calculator, that it completed it successfully. Okay, so pretty good. Now we can do more challenging software development. But that's essentially what something like Lovable would do. Okay, bye for now.